Alright, so I'm going to try to give you a brief overview of the OnShape interface and how to make the first part, and then you can kind of go from there. So again, we're going to log into the home page for the intro class, and you should have an assignment here that says Inventor/OnShape New Shapes 1. When you click on this, the instructions are very specific. Use the image below, pick out 5 of the models and create them using OnShape. It's very similar to what we did at the beginning of the year. Each one of these little grids that you see is 0.25 or 1/4 of an inch, whichever one you want to identify it as. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll just choose shape number 10 right here, and I'm going to go over to OnShape, what I have loaded up right now. I've already created the shape here, but I'm going to create it again. First thing I would do if I were you for the assignment is go ahead and create a folder and name it whatever the assignment is, and we'll call it Practice Shapes 1. And then basically any of the files that we're going to create, they'll go in here. So you'll go to Create, Document, and I'm going to name this one Shape 10 because that's the shape that I chose. So once it loads up, again, like I said in the last video, the interface is very similar to what you would see in Inventor. Color scheme is a little bit different, and when we start actually making sketches and things, you'll notice that some things won't disappear or look exactly the same, but that's not too big of an issue. We still have our view cube over here. We are going to have to manually move that around. If I want to rotate my view cube around, it's as simple as right-clicking and holding down right click and moving instead of having to hold down shift and middle click like it used to be for Inventor. But I'm going to go ahead and start a sketch, and it's just like before. It's going to ask us to choose a plane. I'm going to go ahead and choose this front plane right here, and when I selected that, you can see that it says sketch 1, but it hasn't flipped my view cube like it does automatically for us in Inventor. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to hit the front view so it does it for me. Then I'm going to go ahead and use the rectangle or the corner rectangle tool that they have right here, and you have the line option as well, and circle and arc and polygons and things like that. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and use the corner rectangle, and I'm just going to click here, and I'm going to flip back over to my shape, and I can basically sit here and count all of these out. It's 10 going across, which would make it 2.5 inches. And it is 6 going up, which would make it 1.5. So I'm going to go ahead and go back, and I'm going to go ahead and just click, and I'm going to place it. Now before I do anything else, I'm going to go right here and hover over this, and I'm going to type in 2.5, and then I'm going to hit enter. Then I'll hover over this one, and I'm going to type 1.5, and I'm going to hit enter. And you can see the dimensions for the shape are in place. Once I'm done with this, I can hit the finish button right here, and then hit the view cube to bring it back to our isometric view that we're used to. Once I've done that, we have our extrude option, we have a revolve, sweep, loft, thicken, all things that we've used before. And I'm going to go ahead and choose extrude because we are going to want to extrude this. Now under the extrude option, we have new, add, remove, intersect. Basically, add is adding onto it or extruding. And removing is cutting away the pieces, and intersect is the same as it was before. So we're going to go ahead and use add, and then I'm going to go back to the shape, and I can see that it's 4 going back, so it's only going to be 1 inch. And I can just type in 1 inch here, which it's already set to, and I'm going to hit enter. From here, based on what I'm seeing right here, we're going to be making this circular pattern or this arc. And I can see that it's going 6 across, so you've got 0.75 here, 0.75 here, add it together, and you're getting 1.5 inches. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to start a sketch on this surface. Same thing, going to go to the front view. You don't have to do this. I just held down the middle mouse button to move this, but you don't have to go to the front view like this if you don't want to. And I'm going to go ahead and use the center circle like we have right here. I'm going to find the center point. You can see that it's locking to the center point at the top. And I'm going to go ahead and place this. It doesn't have to be perfect. I don't have to get it at 1.5 exactly. I can click anywhere. and then I hover over it just like before, over the text, and I type 1.5. Hit enter, and it places my circle for me. Same thing as before. We hit finish up here on the green checkbox, and we're going to go back and rotate this view back out for us. Here again, we're going to extrude. And this time when we select it, and I can select just the bottom half, I'm going to go to remove. By default, it's already at 1 inch, but you could always select it to go all the way through if you wanted to, if we had a much larger shape, and that way it extrudes all the way through the entire object. Once you have your object done correctly like that, you can zoom in. Usually what happens when we're using Inventor, our planes disappear once we select whichever one that we're working with. That is an option that you can turn on and off inside of OnShape. Until you get comfortable with it, I would leave it on. But when you're going to take your screenshots, I would go over here into the origin folder, and you can see that there's a little eyeball right here. You can right click on it and you can hide it, and it will turn your planes off. And then we have our shape. So when it comes time to take the actual screenshot, we can do that. And you can also disable the origin one as well, so it doesn't show that little dot there. But I'm going to go ahead and just leave it on for right now. So that's how you would get your image set up and ready for an actual screenshot. You could also, if you needed to edit a feature like we do in Inventor, you simply go to the sketch. If maybe I need to change the sketch, you right click on the sketch, go to edit, and I can go in here and I can adjust. Maybe I wanted to make this, I don't know, double click on it and make it 3 like this, and it would adjust it, and I could update that sketch. But I'm going to hit Control Z and bring it back to what it was. I don't want to do that. Same thing can be done with the extrusion. You right click on it, you can edit it, and you can adjust the dimensions here. So that is pretty much how you're going to create your shapes, these first basic shapes inside the software. Like I said, the transition shouldn't be too difficult for you. It's pretty easy. The stuff that we're using at the beginning is very similar with the extrude feature and the sketch feature. Don't go too crazy with it this first week. I want to ease you back into it so that it's not too difficult, because I know that you guys got a lot of stuff going on in your other classes. So once you get something like this, make sure that you can visibly see your name up here, that you can see all this. Take a screenshot, put it in a Word document, and save that Word document. This auto saves for you because it is cloud-based. It's just like Google, so you don't have to worry about hitting the save button. Every little thing that you change on it, it's saving it for you. So once you're done with that, if you need to, you can go back to OnShape, and it will take you back to your workspace, and you can see it there. But again, once you're done with that shape, go back here and pick 5 shapes of your own. Or if you want that to be the shape, one of your shapes, go ahead and choose that one. But choose ones that you feel comfortable with. If you want a little bit of a challenge, choose something that you don't feel totally comfortable with. There are a lot of options for this first assignment.